Hiya, welcome to LSB Feasters radio channel where we keep great radio from the past alive. And today we're remembering a radio legend. His name, Dick Summer. He spent many years on the air in Boston and in New York City. And he just had a unique style, just a really cool, unique voice. The way he spoke was just different, and he had a great way of bringing a story to life. At a young age, Dick was inspired by William B. Williams at WNEW New York. And check this out. When he picked up one of his early jobs in 1957 at WNHC in New Haven, Connecticut, he worked alongside Dan Ingram. What a great inspiration that must have been. One night, he picked up the WBZ signal in Boston and listened to that station and loved it and thought, I'd love to work here. So he sent tape after tape after tape after tape to WBZ, and after a year of sending tapes, he landed the overnight show on WBZ, where he stayed for a long time. He also spent time on WMEX in Boston. And then New York came calling, and he had a chance to work at 95.5 WPLJ, and then eventually moved over to 66 WNBC, 97 WYNY, and 102 WPIX FM in New York. Now, in addition to his radio work, he spent a ton of time doing TV and radio commercials. He was just a real unique talent. Let's check him out, the one and only Dick Summer, on 66 WNBC, New York.
Hear the new excitement in Rockefeller Center, 66 WNBC, New York City.
NBC Radio News. Henry Kissinger's diplomatic sword fails to cut the Middle East knot. I'm Sam Hall reporting that Secretary of State Kissinger is ending his 16-day Mideast peace mission in failure, returning home tomorrow without any agreement because of what are called irreconcilable differences between Egypt and Israel as to who is going to give up what. Israeli spokesman Dan blamed the collapse on Egypt, not on Kissinger's step-by-step approach.
Israel remains ready, as always, to persevere in its efforts toward a settlement with Egypt, and will continue to maintain the closest contact with the U.S. government towards this end. Israel extends its deep gratitude to the U.S. government, and in particularly to the Secretary of State, Dr. Henry Kissinger, for his untiring efforts in the cause of peace.
Patyar accused Egypt of refusing to renounce the state of war. Next step is probably a return to the Geneva Conference, where the Soviet Union would play a direct role. The Palestinians have also supported a return to Geneva, contending Kissinger's diplomacy was an attempt to break up Arab solidarity. More news after this.
WNBC joins New Yorkers to help strengthen the American dollar.
Turn off all the unused lights that cut my electricity bills from an average of $25 to $30 a month.
If we work together, we can strengthen the American dollar. Tell us how you are fighting rising prices. Send your tips to WNBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, New York, 10020. WNBC cares.
People depend on radio. In fact, 2 out of 3 listeners say they can't get along without it. To earn the trust that people place in WNBC, we belong to the Radio Code, the Radio Code of the National Association of Broadcasters, working to bring you professional programming and believable advertising. WNBC's standard of professionalism, the Radio Code. We believe in it, so you'll believe in us.
We believe in the Radio Code.
The situation is worsening for the military regimes in Cambodia and South Vietnam. Communist-led forces captured their 9th South Vietnamese province and started boring in on the ancient capital of Hue. The American airlift into Phnom Penh was suspended today because insurgent rockets damaged 2 planes on the ground. Political sources say President Lon Nol may leave the country soon so a new government can negotiate with the rebels. President Ford called the new developments very disturbing and said the U.S. must re-examine its policy there. But in a Philadelphia Bulletin interview, Defense Secretary Schlesinger says a loss of Southeast Asia to the communists would not shift the world's military balance against the U.S. that its impact would be primarily psychological. Congressional conferees get together Monday to try ironing out the differences in tax cut bills passed by both houses. Today, the Senate voted to cut personal and corporate taxes by more than $33 billion. House leaders who voted for a $20 billion cut said the Senate got out of hand. A compromise will probably be closer to the House's $20 billion measure. Brooklyn Congressman Fred Richmond is warning that the lives of everyone living in the New York area are being endangered by the transportation of deadly plutonium oxide through the city. He wants it stopped immediately. You're listening to NBC News.
In Rockefeller Center, 52 degrees and cloudy at 10:04. Mayor Beam will bear the city books tomorrow at a Gracie Mansion news conference. He apparently has confidence in the color of the ink in the ledger book, saying it's black and definitely not red. He says he wants to put an end to those scurrilous stories that have been circulating, saying the city is broke. City Council President Paul O'Dwyer says if the city has money problems, it's because of banks who have been charging high interest rates on city bonds. And O'Dwyer says it's high time the bankers come in to do some talking.
If the banks would not respond and treat us as for what we are, an institution that has the welfare of 8 million people to be concerned about, and unless they do that and recognize their obligation to the public, then I would make them do it by law. These banking institutions have a license to go out and collect the monies of the people of this state and of this nation. They are chartered. This is a privilege.
O'Dwyer says if the trend continues, he'd favor nationalizing the banks. Deputy Police Chief William Carter of Jersey City has been found innocent of bribing and conspiracy charges. He had been accused in connection with the fixing of an assault case. A jury in Elizabeth deliberated a total of 26 hours over 3 days before finding Robert Carroll guilty of second-degree murder in the killing of WNEW judge last November. Sentencing of the 19-year-old Carroll scheduled for April 10th. Alfonso Garcia is in fair condition at Metropolitan Hospital tonight with a bullet in his chest. Police say Garcia and a companion got into an argument on 118th Street between Lex and Park in Harlem when he gets shot. Police say Garcia knows who did it, but he's not talking. A man who maintained a strong presence in American athletics for more than 30 years has died. Asa Smith Bushnell, former director of the Olympic Committee and former commissioner of the Eastern Collegiate Athletic Conference, died of a heart attack at the Princeton, New Jersey Medical Center. He was 75 years old. The Tigers of Princeton edged Oregon at the NIT at the Garden, 58-57. It means Princeton now will go against Providence tomorrow. They moved into the finals by defeating St. John's. The Mets have not been having a good spring. They've played 14 games and they've lost 10. Today it was a 2-1 contest won by the Phillies, who picked up both runs in the first inning off Tom Seaver. Showers, possibly a thunderstorm this evening, cloudy and windy later tonight, lows in the upper 30s. Right now, 52 and cloudy. Next news at 11, bulletins at once. I'm Jack O'Rourke, WNBC News.
66.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to a WNBC Spring Weekend.
66 WNBC.
Suddenly it's spring, 1960.
Dick Summer.
Someone told me it's all happening at the zoo.
How do you do? I'm Dick Summer at the zoo. That doggone 23-hour deodorant that Dr. Mento is wearing again, he gives out, you know. It's about 9 minutes past 10 o'clock in the Big 66. I'm Dick Summer. We are having a spring weekend, as you can probably tell, at the zoo. That was from 1968, not from 1960. But, well, listen, you average them out, and you come pretty close by the end of the show. You will have a chance to win some great prizes in just a few minutes. You're ready to spring a prize from WNBC, albums, concerts, tickets, and more from 66 WNBC.
Dick Summer. WNBC.
Yeah, listen, he's going to break your heart if you're not careful, and he's going to jump up and down on your epinephrine gland and remove the buckle from your belt. It is about 13 minutes past 10 o'clock at the Big 66. How do you do? I'm Dick Summer. We got no weather forecast, funny, We have John L. Sullivan, however, with us. Thank you, Mrs. Sullivan. WNBC reminds you that New York is great in the spring. Enjoy a visit to the Queens Botanical Garden. See 38 lush acres of gardens right in Queens. It is free, and it is located at 4350 Main Street in Queens. WNBC cares.
Oh, honey, look at Robbie. Let's get a picture of him under the elm tree.
Oh, okay. I'll go buy some film.
Don't move, Robbie.
Photomat presents How Not to Buy Some Film. First, go to the kind of store that specializes in making you wait.
Wake up. You're next.
Oh, is this film fresh?
What do you want to do? Squeeze it?
On your way back, say hello to the meter maid ticketing your car.
Hello.
Hello. Honey, this film won't fit the camera.
Maybe it's just swollen.
This is our little way of over-dramatizing the drive-through convenience of your local Photomat store. Not to mention Photomat's fresh film and flash cubes at everyday low prices.
Ooh, hurry, honey. It's getting dark.
It is? I'll go buy some flash cubes.
Don't move, Robbie.
Next time, Photomat.
And right now, the Photomat store is having a film sale just in time for the holidays. Print, slide, Super 8, even pocket camera film. Buy 2 rolls and save. For instance, Photomat's 126 12-exposure color print film, 2 for just $1.59 at Photomat.
Part of your life, part of just living, makes living part of your life.
WNBC TV is part of your life. Live it with Channel 4.
Part of your life, part of just living, makes living part of your life. WNBC.
That's my school. On the Big 66 WNBC, I'm Dick Summers and that Conley Sweet Soul music. Arthur Conley on the Big 66 WNBC, some of that sweet soul music. I'm Dick Summer. We're going to have is a summer secret stinky sound, and these are ordinary sounds that you hear around all over the place. And, well, some places you hear them more often than other places. But they are simple sounds. They are recorded with no gimmicks. There are no fooling arounds going on. It is just an ordinary kind of a sound. And I would like to hear from you if you think you know what it is that you were listening to with this summer secret sneaky sound. Telephone number is 246-1212. The prize is nothing, in keeping with the low-budget function of this program. This is kind of like the meat, the ham, if you will, between Pringle and Imus. And it takes a lot of ham, I want you to know, to keep those two separated, all right? So anyway, it is kind of a low-budget show, so we're giving out nothing for the prize. But the distinction, okay, of having correctly guessed what these is, and here it is. What do you think that is? 246-1212, if you think you know what it is. 246-1212 for the summer secret sneaky sound.
It's springtime in New York, WNBC. Sweet as the fudge, sweet as the fudge.
Yes, along comes Mary on the Big 66 WNBC. The association, we're doing a spring weekend. All of the sounds that you hear are sounds of spring. We should have collected some of the old spring jokes. You know, you know what the mama bedbug had in the spring? And the answer to that is, the mama bedbug had a baby in the spring. 21 past 10 o'clock at the Big 66, 52 degrees. The spring weather forecast, cloudy and windy tonight, a low in the upper 30s. Sunday, sunny and a little bit milder with a high temperature near 60 degrees. Clear on Sunday night, a low 35 to 40. Fair on Monday, a high temperature between 55 and 60 degrees. Looks really nice for Monday. Right now it's 52 degrees. Believe it or not, we have a winner already. So, like, you play that sound again? You got it? Okay, this is the sound. There it is. Okay, and we had the third telephone call went like this.
Hello?
Hey, who is this?
Gary.
Gary who?
Brudner from Long Beach.
Okay, Gary, tell him what it is.
It's water pouring. I thought it was water pouring out of a bottle. It's shaking it.
Yeah, that's
a stiff neck.
It's somebody shaking a bottle. That's right. But Gary, can you tell me what it is in the bottle that they're shaking?
I presume water, liquid.
That's true. Who is shaking it, Gary?
Who?
Yes.
Who? You?
That's a good guess, anyway. Gary, you're wrong. It is not me. It was Raquel Welch, and it was about...
WNBC 66.
Okay, I can't put that one over on you too well. Huh? Shaking a bottle of liquid is what the sound was. Thanks to Art Fernandez, who did the actual shaking on that. 26 past 10.
Dick Summer. WNBC.
He loved me, I want to know. How can I tell if he loved me? Oh, yeah, it's in his kiss.
It is in his kiss, the Shoop Shoop song, Betty Everett, on the Big 66 WNBC. I'm Dick Summer. It is about 28 minutes past 10 o'clock. I wanted to tell you one more time that the sound that you heard, the Summer Secret Sneaky sound, was somebody shaking some fluid in a bottle, a small-necked bottle. See, it says here in the disc jockey book, disc jockey plays Secret Sneaky sound, and audience takes at least 4 hours to find out what it is. You see? But like we keep getting like a third and fourth call. Now that's the you people got to read the book a little better than that. Here's the sound again. Okay, I just wanted you to know what it is, because some of you turned your radios off before you called on the telephone because you're very hip. If you people were any hipper, you'd be a bunch of elbows, you know. So that's the way it is, though. Okay, it is somebody shaking some liquid in a small-necked bottle. That's the Summer Secret Sneaky sound for this particular hour. Art Fernandez, as a matter of fact, had a big bottle of clear liquid there, and he was holding a diamond ring behind it up to his girlfriend because it looks bigger that way. And he thought, you know, he'd have the thing recorded while we're at it. 29 past 10 o'clock in the Big 66, 52 degrees, cloudy and windy on this spring weekend. The beginning of spring, the Vernon equinox, has hit us.
Wow.
And we can catch it because we're here in this 500-story tall Vernon with a V building. And, it's interestingly, it's just off the D train. So it's, get it together. Low in the upper 30s for tonight, and Sunday sunny and a little milder. A high temperature near 60. Clear in Sunday night, low 35 to 40. Fair on Monday, a high 55 to 60. And right now it's 52 degrees in the Big 66.
66 rings your chimes. WNBC.
That is that's by the Blackbirds on the Big 66 called Walkin' in Rhythm. It's first heard on Vatican Radio. 27 minutes before 11 o'clock at the Big 66 WNBC. 52 degrees right now. The forecast, cloudy and windy tonight, although in the upper 30s. Sunday sunny and a little milder, a high near 60. Clear on Sunday night, although 35 to 40. Fair on Monday, a high 55 to 60. Right now it is 52 degrees on the Big 66 WNBC. I'm Dick Summer. We will have the second and third love and touches of spring coming along sometime during the course of tonight. So if you do not feel loved or touched or any combination of the above, stick with us.
66.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to a WNBC Spring Weekend.
66 WNBC.
Suddenly it's spring, 1958.
One more time. I knew it. Those are the chordettes. It's called Lollipop. Lollipop. You know what they're missing? They are missing a good bet. They should have onion-flavored lollipops. Now, that would be nice. Then you could eat them with hamburger. You can't eat a strawberry lollipop with a hamburger. That's no way. It is 24 minutes before 11 o'clock in the Big 66 WNBC. I'm Dick Summer. It's 52 degrees.
I'm Newsday reporter Mike Alexander. I cover Hempstead.
I'm Newsday reporter Carol Agus. I lead a team that covers the town of Huntington.
I'm Newsday reporter Stuart Diamond. I lead a team that covers the town of Brookhaven.
I'm Newsday reporter Barbara Kantrowitz. I cover Oyster Bay.
Long Island is a big place. Much too big for a newspaper to cover with part-time correspondents or a handful of reporters, although some papers try. To really cover the news of Nassau and Suffolk, a newspaper must have a big, talented staff of reporters and editors right here on the island. That's why Newsday employs an editorial staff of about 350 men and women to tell you every day what's going on where you live. No wonder, then, that more Long Islanders read Newsday than the Times, the News, and the Post combined. Newsday, Long Island's own newspaper.
WNBC. It's 23 to 11 o'clock in the Big 66 WNBC. I'm Dick Summer. We're going to have a big contest coming along in just a few minutes. Get your watches ready.
WNBC. You'll never know how much I really love you. WNBC.
Spend the night with Dick Summer.
See me, feel me, touch me, feel me.
That's a sound from Tommy. And what they're trying to tell you in there is that sometimes you can see more clearly even when your eyes are closed, as long as you're concentrating on a loving touch. When you were a little girl, little sadnesses and scraped knees made you cry. A doll's broken arm, a tumble from a playground swing, a piece of candy that you had to wait until after lunch to eat. Little boys who pulled your pretty hair. And then came days of secret tears, sometimes for no reason, just tears in front of a mirror in your room. And that's when songs began to make you cry, and sad movies, and 35-cent magazines with color pictures and stories about singers and actors and their sunny plastic-coated lives. Wasn't there a horse in your life right about then? I don't know if you ever really rode him, or if you just liked to draw his picture and pretend that he carried you away over golden fields, across deep, surging rivers, and under tall, quiet trees. And you cried when slightly bigger boys threw snowballs at you and tried to tangle your first home permanent hair. That was about the time when just the right kind of tears won your first high heels and lipstick, and you had to learn to walk and talk all over again. And how could they pass over you for cheerleader then? And you cried a little different kind of tear. Your tears became subtler things, much gentler pink than your cheeks, and very real. You cried for hungry children, cold at Christmas time, and a glance that fell just short of a smile from someone whose eyes were very kind, and over the hurts a friend endured because she had a different color skin. And there's something more than curls between you when you fixed your mother's hair and found a little silver there. And the end of school at graduation, and the smash of death against someone who grew up with you. But did you cry when I first met you? I wish I knew. I know now that you cry when the new green south wind brushes your forehead as it clicks the castanets of early spring's sleet-sheathed branches. And I've seen new planets tangle in your eyes when the dancing moon excites you as she sheds her last cloud veil and arches naked, full, and wanton against the purple fur-lined sky. Those were so much softer tears that my fingers found near your ears when I rested my head on your breast and felt your nipples blossom on my neck. You're a warm, bubbling spring inside your lips, and I will drink you full and long and deep. Jerry and the Pacemakers. Yeah, the last about 12, 13 minutes or so has been what we call Love and Touch. Jerry and the Pacemakers, and then Tears out of Love and Touch 1. And Phoebe Snow did The Poetry Man. And Barbara Streisand sang about people who need people. All together, that's what we call a Love and Touch. I'm Dick Sommer. It's about 5 minutes before 11 o'clock on the Big 66 on a spring weekend.
Wow, so many soft drinks. It's hard to decide which to buy.
Excuse me, ma'am. Did you know there's a soft drink that's really good for your family?
Oh? Which one?
Yoo-hoo chocolate drink.
Does it taste good?
Yep, it's cool, creamy, and delicious.
Is it refreshing?
Yoo-hoo is a good thirst quencher with meals, snacks, or by itself.
What else makes it good?
Unlike carbonated soft drinks, Yoo-hoo contains high-quality protein. It's good for youngsters and grown-ups, too.
Well, where does the protein come from?
Yoo-hoo is made with non-fat dry milk that's 99% fat-free.
And you say it's non-carbonated. Good. What else?
Yoo-hoo needs no refrigeration. Keeps indefinitely.
Say, Yoo-hoo is a good all-round soft drink value. And it's got such a cute name, too.
Try America's #1 chocolate soft drink. Yoo-hoo. Tastes good and is good for you.
Get nutritious Yoo-hoo chocolate drink. You never had nourishment so delicious, I'll bet. Well, not since you were a little tiny baby, anyway. Why not plan on doing something different this Easter, huh? You devil. Hop on down to Washington for a Marriott stay. Take the train, plane, or drive down. Take advantage of the Marriott Hotel's Spring Family Plan. There are 3 great hotels to choose from: Twin Bridges, the Key Bridge, and the Crystal City Marriotts. And they're all convenient to the nation's capital, major monuments, museums, the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, and historic Georgetown. The parking is free and easy, and the restaurants and lounges are extraordinary. Extraordinary, as you might say. There's a choice of 4 in each hotel, including the Fairfield Inn, famous for family fare. There is nightly entertainment, and you retire to ultra-spacious guest rooms. During this spring holiday, you'll receive Marriott's Golden Passbook, which offers you substantial savings at leading boutiques, shops, restaurants, and rent-a-cars, plus savings on tours and the theater. So think it over and then get going to make yourself happy this Easter. For information and reservations, call Marriott toll-free at 800-228-9290. That's 800-228-9290.
66 WNBC.
Here's the night. 66 WNBC is about to spring with another pair of Diana Ross albums. Be the 6th and 7th callers. That's BT Express. It's called Express. And congratulations to Darren Getz and Mike Ekton, who have both won Diana Ross albums from 66 WNBC on the spring weekend. Congratulations to both of you. Your chance to win an album coming up soon on 66, the WNBC Spring Weekend.
Hear the new excitement in Rockefeller Center. 66 WNBC. New York City.
NBC Radio News. Middle East shuttle diplomacy ends. Saber-rattling resumes. I'm Bob Gibson reporting that Secretary of State Kissinger's latest Middle East visit aimed at achieving an Israeli-Egyptian Sinai agreement has ended in failure, and Kissinger will fly home to Washington tomorrow. The Secretary blamed the breakdown on irreconcilable differences between the two countries, and NBC's William Rice in Cairo says the stalemate has prompted Egypt to revert to tough talk.
Egypt's official spokesman has warned that if the Middle East again plunges into war, it will be Israel's fault. The spokesman charged that Israel was responsible for the collapse of Secretary Kissinger's peace mission because of its intransigent position. The official spokesman said Egypt hopes that when Kissinger returns home, he will make it clear to the American people and to the whole world who is responsible for the failure of his mission. William Rice, NBC News, Cairo.
Egyptian Foreign Minister Fahmy says the collapse of the Kissinger mission means Cairo will now press for resumption of the Geneva Peace Conference. And in Beirut, Palestinian sources say the breakdown came as no surprise because Egypt was virtually isolated from most of its Arab allies. More news after this.
Give your hand to a friend. Give your heart to your love. But give your call to contact. The sooner the better.
Sneezing, drips, congestion. What next?
60301.
Is that an answer or a question?
That's the question when you catch the common cold.
For you, the answer is 12-hour contact.
Why?
Well, because you need 6 cold tablets, 2 every 4 hours, or 3 cold pills, 1 every 4 hours, or just 1 contact capsule for up to 12 hours continuous relief of your sneezing, drips, and congestion. The Tiny Time pills do it. For aches and fever, the others contain aspirin.
And contact doesn't.
Right. So, 6 or 3 or 1. Your cold, your choice.
I'll take the 1 contact, thank you.
Give your cold to contact. The sooner the better.
6 or 3 or 1. Take contact only as directed.
President Ford says recent developments in Southeast Asia are very disturbing, and it's time the U.S. re-examine its policy there. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, the president says the deteriorating situation in South Vietnam is especially disheartening, and he blames Congress for failing to appropriate the additional aid he'd requested. The president's remarks came as the Saigon and Phnom Penh regimes encountered new problems. The North Vietnamese have overrun another province in the south. They've now captured 9 in the past 2 weeks. In Cambodia, 2 American planes were hit by a rocket fire at the Phnom Penh airport, forcing a temporary suspension of the U.S. airlift. The Joint Economic Committee of Congress, chaired by Senator Hubert Humphrey, is proposing a program of more public service jobs and federal grants to reduce the nation's unemployment. But, says Humphrey, the House and Senate need some assistance in remedying economic headaches.
We believe that the Congress cannot engineer an economic recovery without cooperation from the Federal Reserve in meeting the following objectives. 1, reduce both short and long-term interest rates and keep them low throughout 1975. B, accommodate the federal borrowing requirements that will be necessary to finance the deficit. C, provide direct support to the residential mortgage market.
The committee released its report as proposals while the Senate-House Conference panel prepares to iron out differences in 2 tax cut bills and send a compromise package to the White House. You're listening to NBC News.
If you sometimes use a preparation for hemorrhoids, you should know this. Vaseline Brands has news. It's new Hemorrhoid Ointment. Hemorrhoid works fast, helps protect with a proven medical ingredient for soothing occlusion. And Hemorrhoid gives you more of this key ingredient than the leading preparation, and you need no prescription. Now, at your first sign of pain, burning, and itching, turn to soothing Vaseline Hemorrhoid. It's new. Use only as directed.
In Rockefeller Center, 53 degrees and cloudy at 11:04, and Governor Carey is proposing a health care package that calls for fluoridation of all public water supplies in the state. About 5 million of the state's nearly 17 million citizens drink water that is not now fluoridated. Dentists maintain that the addition of fluorides in the water helps reduce teeth decays. The telephone company says 95% of the phones out of service for 3 weeks on the Lower East Side are now back in service. The rest, they say, should be workable in a few days. Union leaders in Newark have come up with a number of plans to save jobs. PBA President Ronald Gasparinetti says a check of the police budget shows possible cuts of $200,000. He says that's more than enough to save the jobs of 112 policemen who are threatened with layoffs. A familiar sight in Hartford will be passing from the scene at the end of the month. Traveler's Aid, which has served 62 years, will close down because of a lack of money. Everyone has agreed to a tentative contract, but Philadelphia transit vehicles remain in the barn. Officials say there can be no resumption of trolley, bus, and subway service until at least Wednesday. Union leadership wants a rank-and-file ratification vote before a single wheel is turned. That vote has been set for all day Tuesday, but city officials are pushing for an earlier vote, if at all possible. Checking sports right now in the NBA tonight, the Knicks lost to Boston 90-81. Boston again has clinched their division. In hockey, the Islanders outskated Chicago 4-2. The Rangers in Detroit, where they lost to the Red Wings 7-4. In baseball, the Mets lost another spring training game, this time to the Phillies 2-1. At Fort Lauderdale tonight, the Cardinals beat the Yankees 5-2. Finals of the NIT set for tomorrow at the Garden. It'll be Providence against Princeton. The weather, cloudy and windy tonight, a low in the upper 30s. Tomorrow, sunny and a little milder, a high near 60. Right now in Rockefeller Center, it's cloudy and 53. Next news at midnight, bulletins at 1. I'm Jack O'Rourke, WNBC News.
66. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to a WNBC Spring Weekend.
66 WNBC.
Suddenly it's spring, 1967.
How do you do? I'm Dick Summer. Spring of '67 saw this one.
Would you like to rock?